Hello and welcome back to the Technically Speaking podcast. I am your host Ethan, joined as always by the dulcet tones of Shay.
Hello, everybody.
And this week's episode going to be a little bit different. Little bit different. I am away next week, so we'll be unable to record. So this is a pre-recorded session. So if any news comes out and we haven't covered it, that's why. But this session Shay has a list of different people's needs for phones, and we were going to do a buyer's guide because we always talk about mobile phones and the highest end phones that come out, but how do you know which phone for you it's right for you? Well, stay tuned.
So first sort of scenario I've got is there's a couple of people in my life who would like a phone. They're not very tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a lot of people yourself. Not very tech savvy. They don't want a big brand new iPhone or new Pixel, something like. They don't want anything like that. They want something simple that they can just send messages, go on Facebook and share cat pictures, and
as long as it calls for text.
Exactly, you know what I want. And can go on WhatsApp. That's like the most social media they're going to get is Facebook or WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first sort of one, is something that's easy to use, but it still has most of the abilities of a proper smartphone that we would have, just not as powerful.
Just not as powerful. Well, for that, it would be any of the mid-range phones, really. So, like, for example, would be the Samsung A54 or any of the A series, really. You know, my granddad, I got him an A04S, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for him. It does what he needs it to do. He's one of those people, he doesn't even use Facebook. But
what in God's name's a Facebook?
Yeah, the last Facebook he had was when someone hit him in the head with a dictionary. But any of them would be good. For someone like, if you were to recommend it to someone, maybe the Pixel 7a or 6a, if you can get it, still would be in. Preferably the 6a if you can get it. Would be preferable for you.
I have already recommended the 7a to someone who is in those shoes.
In those shoes, yeah. If wireless charging isn't a major thing for them, I would say just stick with the 6a, to be honest.
I think if the person I'm thinking of, if they got wireless charging, they probably think it's magic.
Yeah, so I would say get them the 6A if you can, because if you're their main go-to to ask the questions, it's the same phone as you have, so it's easier, it's more familiar to yourself. Another good option in that category is the Nothing Phone 1, because it is that cheaper price, but it's because it's minimalist. It's not got a lot on it for them to get confused with.
That's a very good point, actually. I don't think of Nothing as something that we would get.
Yeah, like a tech.
You and I would buy a proper tech phone, but no, you're right, because it is minimalist. It's pretty perfect. There's not much on it. Yeah.
Yeah, although may not be like your. It may not be what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in terms of if they want to be an iPhone user, the SE is always a great option for that. It retains the home button, so it still has a physical button on it, which is reassuring. It's decent camera. It's the Apple operating system. You're paying more for that, but at the same time, if they are wanting something, Apple in itself is normally, it seems to be a lot clearer to more people than. I guess that's because it's on iPads, and that's quite big.
Mm-hmm.
Or the iPhone 11 at the moment isn't much more expensive than the SE. If they do want that wee jump up, they need the bigger screen.
Okay, yeah. Very nice.
To be honest, I used a Samsung A14. You could do all of that on that, and it's very inexpensive.
Is that the one you've been testing?
Yeah.
That cost you what, pennies?
I got it on a sale for £89.
I mean, come on, under 100 quid.
That was on sale, mine, but
yes, but even if you call it on sale, that's brilliant. Under 100 quid for a phone nowadays, that's unheard of.
Yeah, In terms of someone who is really really not tech savvy in the at all, maybe someone who's a lot older but they need like a smartphone.
Yeah.
Doro do make good phones for that. They're not good phones, but they're good to know how to work, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally a button that says I want to, and then it'll say send a text, or what do you want to do. They pick what they want to do, and it just does, instead of having to learn icons or things like that.
I remember my first try of a Doro phone. An hour and a half it took me to turn off that bloody red button on the back.
That's they're the flip ones, but they make a smartphone as well.
Oh, do they? Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so I would go with the Doro smartphone is alright, but it's probably a bit expensive for like you're paying for that simplicity.
Yeah.
Whereas, the likes of a Samsung A04S, you'll learn how to use it as they'll learn how to do that specific thing. And then, yeah. But they would probably be my top recommendations. In terms of like a brand, probably Samsung's probably your best bet. I would probably have said Oppo not long ago, but their future is a bit iffy in the UK right now, so
yeah. Not easy to recommend at the moment.
Yeah, so a Samsung, any of the Samsung A series, A54, if they're, they're really into their camera, taking pictures, I would go for the A54. If they're not, if they're kind of are, A34. If they're not really, A14. Or if it's someone who doesn't really need a phone, they don't need a smartphone, they just need WhatsApp, A04S.
Alright, awesome. A little side note tack onto that. Would you still recommend the same phones if they wanted to play games? We're not talking proper games, we're talking like Candy Crush sort of stuff.
Well, I actually did play quite a few games on the A14 to kind of test the processor because I had no other way of testing it.
Yeah.
And it ran alright.
Fair enough.
Ran well. Like, Clash of Clans was on it.
That's all
ran very well. That's probably quite an advanced game compared to like Candy Crush and stuff like that. There's a reason it's the most popular Android phone in the world.
Fair enough, yeah. Yeah, just find out that on at the end there to see if you'd still go with the same ones.
See if I was stumble.
Yes. We did not.
In terms of if you want a phone that's best for that, the Pixel mid-range series, because it has the best chip.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
It's the same chip that's in your Pro.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
Yeah, there's no difference in chip in the Pixel series.
The 7 Pro's pretty fast as well.
Yeah, but it really degrades their battery life.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because it's the same chips, but they're not as big a battery.
That would indeed make sense. So next up, we both know someone who is kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
They are very much an audiophile.
Yes.
So audio is one of the biggest things. The other thing would be photos and videos. Photos and videos are very, very important, but also the audio in those photos and videos. Not just listening audio, but also recording audio.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you'd recommend someone like that?
So I have two options here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first is the Nothing phone.
Right.
Actually get integrations with the Nothing ear sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So they can fine tune that however they like. They can do whatever they like, add a bit of bass here, so on and so forth. That's a quick one. However, there's no aux port or anything at all on that, so it would have to be, as much as it pains me to say this, in terms of an audiophile who needs a camera with good audio input intake on the camera, it would be the Sony. Any Sony really, but probably for like the high end, because obviously if they're into this, they want the best.
Oh, of course,
so
yeah.
It's the Xperia 1V.
Right.
So the unique thing about this phone is the only high-end phone on the market at the moment, really, that has an aux cord.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, it is a very complicated video system on it.
Right, okay. How so?
It's just there's 3 different apps for video. The interface isn't really user friendly. It's not point and shoot like the likes of Pixel and
Right.
iPhone.
Okay.
That's why it normally rates bad. Despite having the best camera sensor, it normally rates very badly on camera tests because
right,
it's.
yeah.
But for someone who's willing to put in the work and fine tune it, they can get amazing pictures out of this.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
This is also integrated with a lot of Sony's interfaces, so cameras, microphones, anything like that can integrate straight in there. And at the moment, I believe that Sony are running a deal where you get the newest set of Sony over-ear headphones with it for free.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and obviously you get the Sony app for headphones, and it's just perfect integration for that. Sony normally are some of the best over-ear headphones makers for that sort of thing. And then the Sony also 4K display on the actual screen of the phone. So for watching videos, watching back what you have recorded, any pictures you've taken, you have an amazing display to do that on.
Damn right. If you're recording 4K, there's no point watching it back in 1080p.
Yeah, you need to actually be able to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And just a wee side note as well, if they're not wanting to go for the Sony, because that interface can be a bit clunky, it's a thinner display. The one we talked about last week, the Zenfone 10, also comes with an audio jack. It is pretty much stock Android, so very similar to what you would get on your Pixel on it. And it's still got an amazing camera. It's a flagship camera. The audio on it is great. Probably not as much integration with Sony devices as a Sony phone would have, but it's a great alternative. Plus, it's quite small.
Yeah. Bit more compact.
So I think that would be all my recommendations for an audio file.
So 2 phones, but with a little third on the side.
Yeah. I would say the main one is the Xperia. Secondary, I would say the Northern because it's a bit different. And then finally the Zenfone, which is also a bit different and probably better for audio files. But I just like the Northern.
Fair enough. So next up, a bit of I think it's more of a simple one. Depends what you think. But folding phones. What do you think is the best folding phone out there at the moment? Because we know that some folding phones out there at the moment have their problems.
Shocking.
Yeah. Prices, durability on them isn't great, stuff like that. But what in your opinion, if someone wanted a folding phone, what would you recommend them?
I think when it comes to folding phones, see if you asked me this question next month, it would be a lot easier to answer. So in August, they're set to release the new version of Samsung's folding phones. So obviously that's the Flip 5 and the Fold 5. We don't know what they're going to be like at the moment.
Right.
They're using the new hinge design, which is better. But so folding phones are split up into 2 categories: the Flip and the actual Fold. So the Fold is like a book one. The Flip is the up and down with a half size. In terms of a flip phone, I think the best flip phone on the market at the moment is probably the Oppo Find N2 Flip, I believe is the name. It's the Floppo anyway. It would probably be my pick for the folding, the one that for the flipping up and down. The hinge is really robust on it. It has a good bigger display on the back of it. It has decent cameras on it. It's made to last. Plus you get because it's Oppo, it's a lot cheaper than the other ones, but still retains that flagship quality.
That's what we like.
But the thing, it makes it really hard to recommend that because obviously Oppo's future in the UK is not certain at the minute.
Yeah, exactly.
I would keep an eye out and see about the Samsung Galaxy Flip. I will have to say I'm not a fan of the current generation of Galaxy Flips. I think between the 2, the 3, and the 4, you're not getting much change in terms of hinge mechanisms and things like that. It doesn't lie flat like the Oppo. Well, I'm hoping with 5, with a lot more competition in the market, it should improve, because obviously competition breeds results.
Yep, of course.
So can't recommend that. But if it is bad, the Motorola Razr Plus, we had a podcast going in more deep on it in the back, but I thought that was quite interesting, with the full back being the screen.
Yeah, the Motorola was an interesting one.
Yeah, partly that's what the Samsung are going to do, but the Motorola are using the new hinge tech. So Motorola, the only thing about its operating I will say is it has to say "Hello Moto" every time you boot it up. That's my only gripe with it.
Wait, it has to say it?
Yeah, it says when you turn the phone on, it goes "Hello Moto." That's my only gripe.
That'll be kind of cool for the first 5 times, and then it would probably get very sickening.
Yeah, it's only when you reboot the phone though, so it's not unlocking. But
thank God. That's not as bad.
I think it's not bad in terms of fold out phones. Yeah, that's a lot more of a debated topic.
Yeah, so, I thought as much.
The Find N2 Fold is not available in the UK at the moment, so it's not out of the picture. Which leaves the Pixel Fold, which hasn't been released officially yet. I think it's still on pre-orders at the time of recording. And the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4. Now, the Galaxy Fold 3 did have some issues with the hinges. And, one thing I will say, any hinge-related things at the moment is not covered under Samsung's warranty.
Right.
It's important to know.
That is very important to know.
So if your hinge breaks, you're on your own, you have to pay for it. That may change in the future, but...
We shall see.
Yeah. And so the Pixel is using the new hinges, which are more robust. They're better. They get a flat fold, so it stores longer over time. The Fold 3 had hinge. I'm gonna jump back and forth here, so let me know if it gets a bit jarring. The Fold 3's hinges had a lot of issues from what I remember. The Fold 4 not as many. But over time, I think the Fold 3 got the smile, and I've known a few people who owned them, which obviously isn't many. I think I only know about 4 people.
Yeah.
But it would stop at kind of an L shape when they unfolded it, and they could not get it fixed because it's not covered under warranty.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah,
so even though it is a manufacturing fault, then. So it's basically, it depends on what size of a phone. I think the Samsung Fold is far more practical than the Pixel. It's quite short, quite big bezels. It's quite short, big bezels. The front screen is probably a little bit more usable, but you see when you open it up, it's kind of underwhelming. It's I would say it's perfect for the side, a two-handed use. But it's just not that big for a folding phone.
Yeah.
It's the Samsung, when you unfold a Samsung phone, it's you're now holding a mini tablet.
Yeah, I get you.
The Google, it's it's a little bit bigger than my Pro Max.
The other one's holding a DS.
Yeah. I would actually say the Pixel is not much different to the DS.
Oh, really?
In terms of size.
Oh.
I would say that would probably be the closest, where the Samsung is it's a pseudo tablet.
Fair enough, yeah.
So I would probably, as much as it pains me because of the amount of issues with the hinge, I'd probably give it to the Samsung, but I would see what the 5 is like before committing.
Makes sense, yeah. So what about if someone was, say, an artist, digital artist, but they didn't want a tablet, but something maybe a bit more portable that they could take on the train, on the bus, on the way to work or school or something?
Yeah.
Would there be a phone that you'd recommend for that, possibly?
I think that, first of all, get an iPad mini.
Mm-hmm.
with an Apple Pencil. That is going to be the best option. It's more portable than the Pros. If you're just into Droid, if you need the processing power of a Pro 4 because you are a full-time digital artist, it's hard to get something more portable than that. If you do want to have it integrated in your phone to kind of just practice all the time, there's only one option, and it's the Samsung Fold 4. It has S Pen integration.
That was an easy one then.
Yeah, it's the only one that works. It's either buy an iPad mini or if you prefer Android or just want something a bit more portable to practice on your phone or just jot down ideas. Or I suppose you could go for the S23 Ultra, but it's not as good for that. The pen on it's more for note taking rather than digital art.
Okay.
So another big one that's heard all the time that hasn't been mentioned yet. It's always been tacked on, but you haven't mentioned yet that I just would like to bring up is camera quality.
Yep, very important to us people today.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Obviously, in terms of photography and all that, nothing will ever replace a mirrorless camera.
Yeah,
or
of course.
Any kind of photographer equipment. But you can get pretty damn close.
Damn right. I'm so impressed with my Google 7. The pictures it can take from so far away, it's insane.
Yeah. So it's a couple of options. It's, do you want point and shoot if you want, or do you want to be able to have an amazing camera but have a lot more work go into actually tweaking the settings?
I love a good point and shoot.
Point and shoot. Android side, the Pixel 7 Pro.
Yes.
Or budget option, Pixel 7. It's the same camera, you just don't get the telephotic lens for the zoom in.
Oh, yeah. So fair enough, yeah.
So
if you want something a bit cheaper.
Yeah, if you want something a bit cheaper, go for that. If your iPhone side, the 14 Pro. Easy.
Fair enough.
I think the Pixel 7 Pro is actually the first Android camera to rate above an iPhone camera.
Right.
Because it's got the point and shoot. Android cameras tend to have better specs but not be as easy to just point and shoot. There's Pixel done reverse that, but at the end of the day, it's still, iPhone's bread and butter is the point and shoot.
Yeah.
Like if I want to take a picture with mine or record with mine, video wise, iPhone trounces Android.
Right.
In my opinion. Photo wise, it's per preference, but video wise, I think the iPhone is the cinematic view of the Pros is unreal.
Fair enough, yeah.
But like in terms of to take a high quality photo, once you have the settings turned on on the iPhone, you tap a button or you don't tap a button. Still a high quality video, or if you want a really high quality one, you tap the button. Like it's so high quality that I could see, like when I zoomed into my finger, I could see dirt between. Like, I could see, like, when I was on the beach, I could see sand, like, in between the things in my fingerprint. Like, that is insane.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing what we can pack into such little things nowadays.
Yeah.
Whereas, you got photographers going around with a massive DSLR cameras, have a 40 times zoom. It's like, yeah, but I've got it 20 times on my phone. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of nuts. And then obviously the S23 Ultra is a great camera.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a bit more work. Same could be said about the Sonys. Good cameras, but takes a lot more work. It's kind of unfair on the Samsung to lump them in with the Sonys because it's not that much more work. But
yeah,
zoom on the Samsung is unreal. It's a great camera. It's just not got that same point and shoot that the iPhones and the Pixels have.
Yeah.
In terms of budget cameras, Pixel 7a/6a are best in class.
Fair
so
enough.
For that price, you probably will get a better camera. The Nothing is probably the closest thing you would get to best in class. Like, to kind of challenge the Pixel at that stage. But, yeah. That would be for, like, the kind of mid-range. And then budget, just get something on sale.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a camera and you want it to be really cheap, get something when it's on sale.
I think
there's a lot of...
Go ahead.
There's a lot of phones that I'm not mentioning, like the OnePlus or Paco or Xiaomi. It's just because I don't have much experience with them myself to actually recommend them. Xiaomi I'd have a bit more experience with, but I'm not a fan of their phones.
I've never even heard of those last two companies. Never even heard of them.
Yeah, they're not as big. I would say Xiaomi, I do really love the Xiaomi or Redmi. I really love their integration and kind of brand deals things where they do like the Coca-Cola phone. But in terms of their actual phone, I just can't get to like them. I don't think they don't appeal to me aesthetically. The operating system I find a wee bit clunky,
Yeah.
But they are good budget options. And then the OnePlus, I've never used a OnePlus phone, but apparently they're really good.
I've heard good things.
Mm-hmm. About their newest one, they fell off apart for a while, but their newest one seems to be clawing it back slightly. But I would just go for the Nothing.
Yeah. The Nothing was like a very good choice at the moment.
So, a final thing to kind of end it on is, will we do phone of the year so far?
Yeah, that's interesting. We could do that.
So would you like to do yours first?
Well,
Or would you like me to do mine first?
I think yours will be a bit more climactic because, I mean, I don't work with phones like you do.
It's my job.
It's literally your job. But it is actually quite close between two because my Google Pixel 7 Pro, as soon as I got it, fell in love with it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love the phone, love the operating system, the camera on it's phenomenal, the speeds are insane. I love it. But I really want to get my hands on the Nothing phone too. I really want to get my hands on it. I love the look of it. I love that it's got the brand new, in quotation marks, processor. I just, I really want to get my hands on that and try all the little, it just looks amazing. I really want to give it a go. But because I haven't actually tried it yet, it's going to be my Google Pixel 7 Pro for me. But you work with phones. I don't. And you have a lot more experience. What would be yours?
First of all, who recommended them phones to you?
Some guy. I think it was a podcast with some guy called Dulcet Tones.
Yeah, you should listen.
Yeah, I did listen to it. That's why I have Google Pixel 7 Pro.
Exactly. And now I'm sharing that information. My phone of the year. See, it's hard because like the new Pixel isn't out, the new iPhone isn't out.
Yeah.
So in terms of phones that have come out this year, it's
should we not say all of the year? Should we say so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's came out in 2023, so therefore your phone doesn't qualify because it came out in 2022.
Damn
it! We say it in the last year.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah. This is actually going to be quite funny because I don't think it'll be an iPhone that I recommend.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, like I do love my iPhone, but I just don't think it's like if you have an iPhone from 11, well, I'd say from 12 onwards, I don't think it's worth the upgrade.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
I'd say wait for the 15. 15 will be my phone of the year just because it has USB-C on an iPhone. That's just get out there.
That is brilliant.
Yeah. If I had to pick an iPhone for the year, by the way, it would probably be the 14 Pro, not the Pro Max version. Which is the one I don't use, but I think it's more of a usable size for me because I carry two phones.
Yeah.
And I normally have my iPad with me anyway, so if I need a bigger screen, I have that. Then, in terms of Android phone, I would think I would go with either the Nothing phone.
Yep, I saw that one coming.
Yeah, or the regular Pixel 7.
Right, okay.
Not the Pro.
Yeah. You've talked about that before, that the Pro only has some minor things in it.
Yeah, I'm also not a fan of a curved display.
Yeah.
I've never had one and it scares me. But yes, there's very little difference in the Pro and the 7. So I think for most people you wouldn't notice the difference. The only major difference is the price.
Yeah.
So I think the 7 is a better choice.
He recommended me the Pro. Why didn't he recommend me the 7? I'll be having words with him.
Because it was the Pro was on a deal at that time, not the 7. So it was a specific time and place. But yeah, I'd probably go Pixel 7. Would be my phone of the year.
That is surprising. I thought you were going to choose the Nothing.
Yeah. The Nothing Phone 1, I do love it, but I think it's a safer bet. It's the Pixel Fold 7, Pixel 7.
Yep, fair enough.
So we're pretty similar there.
Yeah, I go for the Pixel 7 Pro, you go for the Pixel 7. Let's go, Google Pixel, let's go.
I would say that they were the best phones to come out in 2022.
Hell yeah.
Easily. If I had to pick a phone that I would really love to try, though, do you know what it would actually be?
What?
The Samsung S23 Ultra, if I had to try, because I have no experience with it. I had an S22 Ultra, to be fair, but I didn't really use it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the S23, I would love to try it.
Is the S23 a big jump up from the S22?
It depends what you mean. It's got using a processor that is designed for Samsung phones.
Oh, right.
So battery life is the major improvement. Its ergonomics are also a bit better.
Right, okay.
But I have to say, I don't like the squared off design of it.
No, not a fan.
Not a fan, but I think there's a coral color that's online only. If I had the coral color, I do think it looks quite fun.
Fair enough. You never know, you may get your hands on it eventually.
I don't think I will.
The S24 Ultra will be out by the time you get hands on the S23.
Unless it's sent to me, I can't see it. Or it's a very big bargain. But to be honest, I wasn't always a fan of Samsung phones.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since trying that one out, I was like, yeah, it's not as bad as I remember.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'd like to try the proper One UI again. And also, it just looks so premium.
The S23?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the S23.
Oh,
let's have a wee gander, shall we?
It looks really, really
pretty. I have seen it before. Well,
yeah.
The price tag would make me think it's premium.
Yeah. S23 Ultra
Jeebus.
Coral, yes, it's that color. It's the online exclusive red. That's the color I would get.
Oh, yeah. It's quite
It's
nice.
not coral. Coral, I think, is actually... I think that's the online exclusive for the Pixel, I think is what I'm thinking of there. But I just like how it looks, and I couldn't put a case on it.
No, it looks like a premium phone, you're right. And the price tag would also make me think it's a premium phone. It's not cheap. I see why you want it to be sent to you.
Yeah. But I'd say, yeah, that would probably be my phone of the year. I do like most phones I try out. It's very rare I would say no to a phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in terms of my tier list for the year so far of the phones that have come out, because it's only really been Samsung and nothing.
Yeah.
I would say if you're wanting a flagship, you get the Samsung S23 Ultra or the S23, but at that point I would just go for the Nothing Phone 2.
Yeah.
If you want a flip phone from out of this year that's come out so far, the Oppo, if you want a bit more security, the Motorola.
Fair enough. I think today was a good chat.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that.
So did
I. The actual one thing I will say that I maybe forgot to tag on is in terms of moving from one phone to another, Pixel makes it the easiest.
Right.
Followed by Apple. Followed by probably Samsung.
Why do you think? Well, why is Google the easiest?
Google, you just have to plug a cable in and sign into your Google account.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from any Android phone.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's easy as.
Yeah, Apple's similar,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have to. But the thing that hurts Apple is moving from Apple to Android.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very annoying.
Yeah, I see.
Moving from Apple to Apple, super easy. Probably easier than Google to Google.
Mm-hmm.
But Google to Apple is better than, vice
Yeah,
than
vice
the other way
versa.
around.
That's a job. So fair enough.
And the Smart Switch app is good, but it just doesn't. It's very finicky to work at times.
I get you.
Then Oppo's clone phone was alright, but not as good as Smart Switch. Yeah, I guess that's the end then.
Yeah, I would say so. That was a very good chat we had today.
Yeah, so if you want to check out more from us, you can find me on Instagram, where you'll probably be seeing quite soon, if not already out, reviews on a new key organizer and a new charging keyring cable thing.
Oh, very fancy.
Stay tuned to find out of them. Tried them out this week. Really loving them so far.
Oh.
Just give you a wee bit of spoiler, but more in depth on the Instagram. Or if not, stay tuned to the YouTube channel. And you can also catch the next episode of the podcast. Check out most of the phones that we talked about today have more in-depth reviews on the podcast. Shay, where can they find you?
They can find me down the link tree below. I am on Instagram and YouTube as well. By the way, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, go listen to the previous ones. 15 plus the pilot episode. Go listen to them.
They're really good.
Yeah,
they're really good. And subscribe for more.
Damn right, do that. Click the bell.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
It helps the algorithm.
Damn right.
Tech people love algorithms.
They love it. They absolutely love it.
Love it.
I
love a good algorithm.
You love a good algorithm, we do.
If you like enough, maybe I'll get Shay to do shorts as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
But until then, see ya.
Bye-bye.